Say the word hello. Now say a swear word. Feel the difference? Your heart rate just changed. Your palms might have sweated. Your brain processed those two words through completely different neural pathways, one through language, the other through emotion. The swear word didn't travel through your language center. It went straight to your amygdala, the same region that processes fear, anger, and threat. A word is just a sound. But some sounds carry weight that goes far beyond their meaning. The question is, why? In 2009, the psychologist Richard Stevens at Keele University in England conducted an experiment that changed how we understand language. He asked 67 students to plunge their hands into ice-cold water, painful, but not dangerous. In one condition, they repeated a swear word. In another, they repeated a neutral word. The result, swearing increased pain tolerance by 35%. The swear word didn't just feel different. It actually made the pain more bearable. Why? Because swear words bypass your language center entirely. Neuroscientists have found that when you hear or say a swear word, your brain activates two systems simultaneously, the language processing areas in your left hemisphere and the emotion processing regions in your right hemisphere, particularly the amygdala. Normal words like hellos only activate the language system. Swear words activate both, they're processed as language and as emotional threats simultaneously. This is why swear words feel heavier than other words. Your brain treats them more like a scream than a sentence. And this has profound implications for how language works. The neuroscientist Timothy Jay at the New Jersey Institute of Technology has spent decades studying the mental lexicon, the brain's dictionary. He found that swear words are stored separately from other vocabulary, in what he calls taboo lexical items. They're accessed faster, remembered longer, and retrieved more easily than neutral words, especially under emotional stress. When you stub your toe, your brain doesn't search for the most descriptive word. It grabs the most emotionally charged one. That's why everyone swears when they're hurt, regardless of their education or vocabulary size. And here's the strangest part: people with severe brain damage who've lost the ability to speak, who can't name objects, form sentences, or understand language, can often still swear. The word fuck survives when hello doesn't. This suggests that swearing isn't really a linguistic function at all. It's an emotional one. It lives in a different part of the brain than the rest of language. But if swear words are so powerful, why do they lose their force in a second language? In 2012, the psychologist Caitlin Tuhig at the University of Wisconsin studied bilingual speakers and found that swearing in a second language produces significantly less emotional arousal than swearing in a native tongue. The same word, the same meaning, but a weaker physiological response. Swearing in English feels different from swearing in Mandarin, even for people who are fluent in both. The reason is that taboo associations are learned in childhood, during a critical window when your brain is forming its emotional vocabulary. The swear words you learned as a child carry the full weight of your cultural conditioning. The swear words you learned as an adult carry less charge, because your brain didn't build the same emotional architecture around them. This explains why code switching, changing languages mid-sentence, can feel like changing emotional registers. Swearing in your second language is like wearing someone else's shoes. It fits, but it doesn't feel like yours. And then there's the cultural dimension. What counts as a swear word varies enormously across cultures. In English, the strongest taboos are sexual and scatological. In German, religious blasphemy carries more weight. In Japanese, the most offensive words relate to family relationships. In Aboriginal Australian languages, some of the strongest words can only be spoken by certain people at certain times. The content of the taboo is arbitrary. The neurological response to it is universal. Every culture has words that make your amygdala light up. The words themselves are different. The brain circuitry is the same. This reveals something profound about language: words don't have inherent emotional weight. They acquire it through association. A sound becomes a swear word because a culture decides it is. But once that association is formed, it becomes neurologically permanent, wired into your brain like a scar that never fully fades. So here's what we're left with. Swear words feel different because your brain treats them differently, not as language, but as emotion. They bypass your rational mind and speak directly to your fear center. They're the oldest words in your vocabulary, the ones you learned first, and the ones you'll remember longest. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein wrote that the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. But swear words suggest something more. The limits of my language don't include the parts of my brain that feel. Swearing is language leaking into emotion, sound becoming feeling, word becoming scream. And that's why it matters. Not because swear words are rude or impolite, but because they reveal that language isn't just a tool for communication. It's a tool for survival. The same brain that invented poetry also invented the word fuck, and both serve the same purpose, expressing something that can't be expressed any other way. The real question isn't why swear words feel different. It's what it means that a species learned to encode raw emotion into sound, and that those sounds can still make your heart race, your palms sweat, and your pain fade, thousands of years after they were first spoken.